Okay, I am live. Don't know how many of you are out there right now. As you can see, I'm by myself. Um, Tom and Marie are both under the weather, and so it'll be me. And don't know how long I'll stay up. Probably not long, because that's got a lot going on myself. But I'm here for the time being, and let's see who shows up. All right. Like I said, Tom and Marie are a little under the weather, and it's let's hope they get well soon. So what's everybody up to tonight? Hope y'all are all well. I got to figure a way of centering that picture for the virtual background. Type anything into the comments here. All right. So I got somebody else in here. Who's in here? Hark. Let's chat. How are you? So, do any of you follow baseball? The Braves are off to an amazing start. And as good as their start is, that's the start by the Tampa Bay team, Tampa Rays, is amazing, even more amazing. So it's extremely interesting to see. So I'm a big Braves fan. I'm a big Atlanta sports fan. Let's just face it, I'm big. I'm not as big as I used to be because of keto. I went into keto for the wrong reasons. I went in to lose weight, and that's not why you want to start this. You want to start it so you'll get yourself healthier. And yes, you heard a pop top, but it is not what you think. It's a bang. Oh, there it is. There it is. So it's a bang, non alcoholic. So I hope we'll get a couple of people in here at least. If not, I'll talk to myself for a while. That's okay by me. So, but yeah, the Braves they're off to a great start. Um, Falcons had a good draft. They've got some good signings. I'm looking forward to their season. They won't be a championship team, but they're going to be better than they were last year and the year before. They they have they've got a good coach. They had nothing to work with the last 2 years. I mean he was zip zilch nada nothing, and he ended up being competitive in a lot of games, and that's a tribute to his coaching ability. So Arthur Smith, I I applaud you. You have shown me that you have got some coaching ability. Now, um, Hawks got kicked out of the playoffs real quick. I figured as much. Um, we'll see what next year brings. Then, oh, we got the dude in here. What's up, dude? Yeah, Tom and Marie, they're a little under the weather, so I'm doing this solo. Don't know how long I'll stay because I'm here by myself, and I got a feeling my dogs are gonna raise holy Cain here in a minute, wanting to get out. But I hope you're doing all right, dude. Uh, I hope. Are you in Salt Lake City now? If y'all hadn't been following it, there's a collaboration out right now. It's hashtag Spring Salads 2023. Spring Salads 2023. Hashtag Spring Salads 2023. And if you hadn't been following, go follow it. There's been some great recipes. I'm in this collaboration. My recipe will be coming out on the 18th of this month. There's a different recipe every month, and you never know what you're going to see. Tony over at Kettle Kitchen, he put one out today. I think his came out today, but his was really good. It was not your traditional salad, and I like that. But it looked really delicious. So, oh, you're back in Boise, and oh, good Lord, I hope your grandkids are okay. I swear they're sick too. Wow. Well, I wish good health for you and your family. Been seeing some of your videos out there on TikTok, dude. You've been are these old ones that you're putting out there clips from, or is this new stuff? Because that some good looking stuff that you got out there. So keto diet, like I said, you start it for losing weight. You started it for the wrong reason. Weight loss is it's a byproduct. It will okay mix of new and old. The reason you started is to get healthy, and the weight loss it will happen if you do it right. It will happen. And to start it, I suggest that you take everything that is starchy out of your house, unless you got other people that are in the house with you. If you got people doing the keto with you, the keto diet with you, ketogenic lifestyle, I don't like the word diet. It's not really a diet. It's more of a lifestyle, a way of eating, something like that. And I know you hear that about all the different things, that so-called diets. But this really is. It changes your entire thought process because the others, most all the others, they center around the standard American diet and making it fit into something that you can eat and be healthy. Problem is, it doesn't work for everybody. Some people it works great for. Didn't work for me. I don't know why, but it didn't. So, and I was eating the starch, the green, the vegetable, and the meat at every meal. So it's not something that really I can understand and really take good note of. It's just it didn't work for me. So I tried this. This works for me, and so I do it. But if you go into it with the mindset of losing weight, you set yourself off for a bit of a failure. Hey, how you doing, Michelle? I'm flying solo today because Tom is not. Tom and Marie both are under the weather. So hope you're doing okay. So have y'all had springtime hit where you are, dude? And I know it's starting to hit where you are, Michelle. 'Cause it's finally started to hit here right. I mean, we were getting warm days, but it was cold at night, getting cool at night, and so typically with Georgia weather, you had to dress 3 ways during the day. You get up, you dressed in a hoodie to go out or dressed in warm clothes, and so it's, we then in the afternoon, you gotta change to something, you gotta have some ability to get down to something that's not warm clothing because it's gonna be warm, and you can't stand to be in the warm clothing. And then come nighttime, you're back into the warm clothing. That's the way it's been in the spring. Now we're getting into that part of where summer really kicks in. It's in the mid 80s here today, and it'll be like that tomorrow and things like that. Spring was there and it disappeared for a week, but it's back now. But it's back. Uh, that's good. We spring is a we don't we'll get like a week of spring, and then it's summertime's here. Same way with fall. It's summertime until about November. You'll get a couple of cool nights and all, but till about November it's summertime. But yeah, if you're doing keto by yourself, it's harder. But if you got somebody in the house doing it with you, you can really do a lot better because you can get rid of the if you got kids, fix for your kids things that they can eat and they will eat. And if you can get them to eat this, that's great. I mean, there's a lot of things that are keto that folks don't realize are keto that you can eat that kids might eat. Yeah, dress in layers. You are sure right. But then you've got if you get rid of all your starchy things, you won't be tempted, and then you can really focus on eating what you're supposed to eat. And there's no real keto food per se. It's you want to shop the outer aisles. You can shop the refrigerated section or and you can get into the freezer section, but you want to get into the produce, and the produce can come from the frozen section. I do frozen most of the time. Tom does fresh most of the time, but he has a vacuum sealer that he can vacuum or seal his veggies, and they don't go bad near as fast. I don't. I need to get one. So if you've got that, it has a big help to you. But because you can get the fresh vegetables and it won't go bad. I get the frozen usually because it's you know something you got to do. You can't. I can't live with having food go bad and throw it out. Yeah, you're doing it by yourself. Yeah. My wife and I do it, and we're the only ones here in the house, so we both do it, so it's fine for us. But I know there's folks like you, Michelle, that have that issue because I know you got a bunch of folks. Oh lordy, okay. Tom's got the nasty flu, and can't talk. Well, Tom, I'm wishing you get well wishes for both of y'all. Y'all stay healthy and get healthy, and hope everything turns out good for you. Oh, Big Valley Living is here. Nice to see you. Oh, and Nancy from our treasured home, ALG. Nice to see you. So yeah, it's man the flu. When the C word first came out, I did not. Um, Nobody. Well, just before it came out, I got really really sick in 2020, and it was like end of January, beginning of February. Well, COVID had already started to hit, but nobody was talking about it, and nobody really knew anything about it. And it had started a few days or back in like 2019 in October, December to December time. And I got really sick, and I ended up at the doctor with it. They tested me for flu, nothing. Didn't come back positive. So I said, well, okay. Then next thing you know, I was sick. I was down for over a week, and then next thing you know, they come out and start talking about COVID, and I'm thinking, I bet you money I had that because I was sick like the flu, but didn't have the flu, and so I can't think of what else it would be. The flu's bad enough. I know. I'm glad it's not the big C, but so yeah. So you got sick like that too, Michelle. Wow. I'm hearing a lot of folks. Hey, Bobby Joe, cooking with Bobby Joe. How you doing? I know your name's not Bobby Joe, but cooking with Bobby Joe is a channel. How you doing? But that I don't want any sickness here. I try to stay away from it because I can't give it to my wife. She's got diabetes, and I don't want to give it to her. So I want to keep her healthy, and with her Alzheimer's, I want to keep her healthy. And then we've got her mother who is near 90, and she's in a retirement home, and don't want to get her sick either because when she's sick, it's really bad. So, but I thought I'd pop on here and let y'all hear from me and do a little bit of a live. I don't know how long I'll stay because I got so much to do. I didn't get anything done today, not at all. But so let's see. Got the flu about 20 years ago, and it came from super fast. Lasted for almost a week. I've had the flu shot every year since. I've had the flu shot too, all but 1 year. That year I had it, I got the flu. I didn't have it. I mean, I got the flu. So I hear you, and I get it. And it was just a question of I just didn't have time to go get it, and I didn't do it. And next thing you knew, I caught the flu. So I'm with you on that. That's not fun, but you got to do what you got to do. So anybody out there sports fans at all? We'll talk about that for a while if y'all are. If you are, what team you root for? What sport? Uh-oh, Big Valley is a Big Valley living. Yep, they're. Are you saying you're a sports fan? What teams you root for? Because I'm Atlanta fan. I like all Atlanta teams. There's my fellow Brave fan right there, cooking with Bobby Joe. Yep. I was talking earlier before anybody joined in. The Braves are off to a one crackerjack of a start, and they as good a start as they're off to. Them doggone Tampa Bay Rays, they're off to an even better start. I'm like, wow, they have played amazing. Mets, oh no. All right, okay, I'll pray for you, dude. I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna put you down for the Mets. I've been down with the Mets. Sacramento Kings, likely to root for the Nuggets. I can never go back to the LA Lakers ever. Well, I can understand that. I'm not a Lakers fan. I have never been a Lakers fan. Um, but I grew up in the. I was born in the '50s, and I grew up in Middle Georgia in the '60s. Well, you're welcome, Tom. Y'all two just get better. And I grew up in Middle Georgia in the '60s, and there was the Atlanta Crackers were in Atlanta, and they played at old Ponce de Leon Ballpark over on Ponce de Leon Avenue. And yes, it's pronounced Ponce de Leon, not Ponce de Leon. That's how they pronounce it here. So, hey. Oh, yeah, Statesboro. That's where I went to college. Look at here. That's my shirt. That's my team. That's my boys. That's my school. So class of 1977. But the Braves had not moved to town yet, and so I couldn't really follow the Crackers because real well because I couldn't pick up the radio station real well that carried them. But I did pick up. Uh, I could pick up KMOX out of Missouri and listen to the Cardinal games. So yes, go Eagles. So I would listen to the Cardinals, and Harry Carey was there, and 1887. Yeah, no. 1977. Believe it or not. Hey, Jason. But there's, you know, I'm still got a soft spot in my heart for the Cardinals, uh, and I root for them except for when they play the Braves. And I would listen to them on a transistor radio at night, laying in the bed, going to sleep, playing games uh, before the Braves came to town. But once the Braves got here, I was a Braves fan and been one forever. But like I said, I still got a soft spot for them. And the Falcons, they came in 1966 also, and I became a Falcon fan. Before that, I was a Green Bay Packer fan. Um, I I really liked the Packers back then. I still have a soft spot in my heart for the Packers, and I love them. And one of the main reasons I like them is because that team is owned by the fans. They own them. You have there's a waiting list to buy stock on the team, and the fans own the team. They have people who run them and higher price, higher amounts of ownership than others, but it's owned by the fans. Um, I actually own some shares of the Atlanta Braves, so I keep telling them I'm gonna go to the team meeting. The A's, a soft spot for Detroit. It was the first baseball game I saw in person. First baseball game I saw in person was an Atlanta Crackers game at Old Ponce de Leon Ballpark here in Atlanta, and I don't remember who they were playing, but I saw it, and it was that was an experience. It was a minor league ballpark, and the first I saw the first game played in Atlanta Fulton County Stadium. That was the old stadium in '66. My daddy said we're gonna see the first game. It was an exhibition game between the Braves and Detroit, the Tigers. And Tommy Aaron, Hank Aaron's brother, hit the first hey Nona Grace. He hit the first home run ever hit in Atlanta Fulton County Stadium. Um, saw the last game played in Turner Field, and that was against, amazingly enough, Detroit. That was so. I got bookends on Detroit as first and last of different ballparks for the Braves. So that was. Were you at the same game I was, cooking with Bobby Joe? Were you at that game, that exhibition game at Fulton County Stadium when they played the Detroit Tigers? Because I, man, and the used to be until Verlander played. Huh? Oh, that's cool. She was at the last game at Turner Field too. Oh man. Well, Verlander, isn't he with the Mets now? And you said you're a Mets fan, dude. So now, why'd you leave the Tigers when Verlander played, and now you do that? That's interesting, dude. Yeah, the last World Series they were in, was it? Did they play the Cubs? Was that the Cubs game that Detroit played? I think, or was it? I can't. I think it was the Cubs that they played. But I now, if I had an American League team to, hey Ron, if I had an American League team that I could say I follow, it would be the Boston Red Sox. I like the Boston Red Sox. Don't ask me why. I just do. I and I always have. Now, what was really interesting was when in '67, when the Cardinals played the um, Red Sox in the World Series, I rooted for the Cardinals because that was my first team. But if the Red Sox had won, I'd have been okay with it. Well, they may have beat the Indians, Daddy Dutch. You're right. That may have been them. Oh, okay. 1984. Oh, wow. That just shows you I'm old. I think you're right. I think they did do that. But so Ron, he's a Red Sox fan. He's in New England. He's going to root for all them New England teams. And Ron, are you still in mourning over the Bruins? Your dad went to basic training with two of the Red Sox. Oh wow. My my father was in the Navy, and he served with several players. He served with Phil Rizzuto from the Yankees, Dom DiMaggio, which is Joe's brother, um, and they were both. He knew both of them. They were playing golf. Yeah, they are now. They are now. You're right. Okay, he's over it. Okay, Jim Longboard and Rico Petrocelli. Yes, yes. Mm-hmm. Yep, they were on that team, and they they could they could play some ball. And you had Carl Yastrzemski. He played left field, and he could play that Green Monster with the best of them. Probably the next best at playing that Green Monster might have been Jim Rice. Jim Rice could play that rascal too. Pitcher and shortstop. Yep. Actually, was Rico at short or was he at third base? I don't remember. But it's now Ron. His Bruins lost, but he's got so much bragging rights with the Patriots. It's not even funny. Your dad wanted to name you Ted Williams. I saw Ted play the best hitter who ever played. I agree. He is the best hitter who ever played, the best pure hitter. But he was amazing. You know, he holds a. They talk about the most consecutive hits, games with hits in it that uh, Joe DiMaggio had. Fantastic streak, but but nobody talks about the streak that Ted Williams had. Ted Williams' streak was he was on base in 84, I think it was, straight games. He got on base in 84 straight games. That's more than half of the season. He did that back when they played 154 games, not the 162 games schedule that they do now. So he did it. That's way more than half of the season. And he could you could chalk him in for half of that season straight. He was on base, and he's the last hitter to hit 400. And here's a good story about Ted Williams. Show you how good he was. He could take he could have taken a day off. He was hitting above 400, and they had the last game of the season was a doubleheader, and the manager came and said, "Go on, sit, Joe. You're good. We don't need this game. These games, we're good. So you just sit, and you'll hit 400." And Joe looked at it and said, "No, I'm playing." He said, "If I'm a 400 hitter, I'm a 400 hitter today." And he said, "I'm going out there and I play." He went 6 for 8 and ended up batting what, 406. So he went out there, and not only did he keep his average above 400, he raised it even higher. That's They asked him one time because he people would put the shift on him, the teams would, and they said, "Why don't you hit to the other side of the field?" He was a dead pull hitter, wanted to hit it to right field, and they said, "Why don't you hit it to the left side of the infield, toward left field? You're such a good hitter. You could hit it over there, couldn't you?" And he says, "Anytime I want, I can hit it over there." And they said, "Well, why don't you do it? You get so much more base hits." He said, "It's more fun to do this and beat them that way." Mm. Okay, he played shortstop and third. Okay, well, we were both right. Bobby Joe Cox. All right, yeah, one of the greatest managers to ever live. He's in the top 10 on most wins by a manager. He is the number one person on most times being thrown out of games, but most of the time it was because he was supporting his team, his players. So that I can live with it. Oh yeah, there's no telling what Ted's numbers would have been if he'd have not gone through and with his service. And he was a pilot, flew planes. Uh, Go figure. But and your husband's dog is Nolan Ryan. There is a commercial way back when Ryan was still playing. Nolan Ryan was still playing, and I love that commercial. He's outside and he's throwing at this basket that he's put up on the side of the barn, and he's throwing the ball at it, or I think it was a basket. But anyway, he's throwing the ball at a target he's got on the barn, and his mama comes and says, "Nolan, you still throwing outside?" And his daddy was standing there. And he said, "She's right, Nolan. Throw inside for a while," meaning instead of the outside half of the plate, throw on the inside half of the plate. So I thought that was pretty cool. And now he's got. I wish I could find some of his steaks. He's got cattle he raises, and he puts steaks out. So let's see. 86 was the pits for me. Billy B. Ball. Oh my God, anyone else would have made that play. Bill Buckner. But but that did not end the World Series. That was game 6. That was game 6. They still had another game to play, and it the pitcher that went out there to pitch, he did not pitch a great game for the Red Sox. You know, Buckner makes that play 99 times out of 100. Who knows? Take care, dude. Who knows why he missed that ball? It's one of those freak plays. It's like what was it, the 85 World Series when Kansas City was playing um, St. Louis, and Kansas City won the World Series, and the whole thing was decided. What it came down to was a play where the umpire missed a call at first base. He called them out, he missed the call. It was either he called them out and they were safe, or he called them safe and they were out. I don't know which, but that's the way the game goes. I mean, one of the hardest things to do is you're hitting a round ball with a round bat and you're trying to hit it square. So sorry about that. So they it's I have not got to the lemon cookies recipe yet. I'm going to watch it. It's coming up real soon on my playlist. I'm working my way through it. We have had for the last oh 3 weeks. Real life has kicked our backsides. So, but anyway, but yeah, Buckner he makes that play 99 times out of 100. That man was a brilliant fielder. Don't know why he missed it. It's just one of those freak things in baseball, But broke my heart because I really wanted the Red Sox to win that game. But they made up for it when they came back against the Yankees and won. Uh, they were down 3 games to none, and they came back and beat them 4 straight. But now the Yankees, no denying they put some good baseball teams out there on the field, but I can't follow them. I can't do it. I just can't do it. I'm not. I just can't. They have players that I have liked. Roger Maris, I liked him. Mariano Rivera, I liked him. Derek Jeter, liked him. Mickey Mantle, loved him. That was good lord, that man could play. If he had not gotten injured so often, there is no telling what if his injuries just tore his career up, and he still hit an incredible amount of home runs and all. Plus, he did not take care of his body. He did not, and he was the first to admit it. That legend has it that he said, "Had I not had I known that I was going to live as long as I have, I would have taken better care of myself." So I don't know if he did or not, but the legend has it he said that. Yes, they do buy everybody. Yeah. Now they do have that new kid they've got, Aaron Judge. He is something else. He is incredible as a player. He is incredible. I'm I marvel at how well he plays. The Mr. October. I'll put him up against Yogi Berra because Yogi Berra. Um, they asked Casey Stengel one time. They said, when they won so many World Series and all, and he he said, "What's the secret to winning all these World Series?" He said, "I never went into one of them without my man." Everybody thought he was talking about Mickey Mantle. He was not talking about Mickey Mantle. He was talking about Yogi Berra. Everybody thinks of Yogi for all his witticisms and yogiisms and things like that. But yeah, he had some great lines that were that meant a lot. But he is really uh, the his ability to play, and he handled that pitching staff with the best of them. 2-time MVP. I mean, as a catcher, played an incredible amount of games every year. And if you've ever squatted catching, that's hard. That's hard. They call it the tools of ignorance, so catcher's equipment. But truth is, catchers are most of the time the smartest person and the most baseball knowledgeable person on the whole field. If you go look at the different teams, the managers on those teams, there are more people that were catchers than any other position. Any other position. You got an incredible number of catchers that are out there that are managers now. And it's because they basically manage the game behind the plate. And they have to control the flow of the game. They are the ones that it's led them to play, to be major league managers. Uh, you know, you got Yogi Berra. He was a good manager, and he was a catcher. He played in the outfield some after his catching days had kind of gotten bad. This is an idea away from keto, a sports segment. Yeah, yeah. I decided to do that since I don't have anybody up here to bounce stuff off of. I figured, what the heck, I'll go with this. I can do it. But if y'all got questions for me about keto, go for it. I'll answer them. It's baseball season, and I'm loving it, especially with the start the Braves are off to. And you're making sweet and sour chicken tomorrow with cauliflower rice. That sounds really good, Ron. Real good. Hey, Trouble ENT. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. But uh, we've had the Braves won the World Series in 2021. Um, that was a big moment. They won in 1995. In the franchise history, they won four. I believe it was 1914 in Boston with when they were the Boston Braves. They may have been Bean Eaters then. I'm not sure. But anyway, then there was 1957 in Milwaukee, 95 here in Atlanta, and then 21 here in Atlanta. So now, oh, that's that home run to yeah, where he willed it to go fair. Yeah, I would have loved to have seen just how close it really was to going foul, or if he was just and he was just saying no, please stay fair, or if he was really trying to get it to bend around the pole. The Braves and the Jays did have some good battles, Jason. They I I still got some hard feelings about that '92 World Series. That was a hard one to lose. That was really a hard one to lose. They had such a great season, the Braves did, but so did the Jays. So playing Philly on a Saturday afternoon, beautiful park. Cox was thrown out on a called strike. He did that. If he See, when you're sitting in the dugout, you can say, well, how in the heck is a manager going to know if the ball is a strike or not sitting in the dugout? Well, you can judge up and down sitting in the dugout. And then you watch the catcher's mitt. If the catcher, you can watch it, and if it moves from side to side, you can use this. You can use this sitting in the stands. Watch it up and down, and see if it's in the strike zone that way, and watch where he reaches. If he has to reach for it, or if it's right there where he had his mitt set. Because if it is, it ought to be called a strike. But you got a couple of the managers out there right now that are not managers, but umpires. Man, they are terrible. They are terrible. But you got some that are really good. I mean, the real key to being an umpire is being able to call a good game behind the plate. It's hard enough to call the bases, but it's really hard to call balls and strikes because that's key. And if you look back at the 1997 playoff game between the Marlins and the Braves, Game Six, I believe it was Game Six. Levon Hernandez was on the mound, and I want to say Tom Glavine pitched for the Braves, but I don't remember. But anyway, there were balls that were 2 feet outside that Eric Gregg, the umpire behind the plate, was calling strikes. I mean, they were way outside or way inside, and he was calling them strikes. And you couldn't hit it with a bow door, but yet he was calling it a strike. And so that really, really was a deciding factor in that game. The Braves, and he didn't really call it the same way when the Braves were in the field. He didn't call it the same way for their pitcher. It was a one-sided call. Players will tell you, as long as you call it both ways on both sides the same, I can live with whatever strike zone you got. But don't change the strike zone on me when you're going into when the other team's at bat. That that was a heartbreaker there. But the Braves have been full of heartbreakers, but not until recently though. When they had a that World Series against Houston, that was a Jim Dandy of a World Series, and the Braves put that into sleep in a hurry. They didn't leave anything for doubt. And you think back on the game against the not Game Six with the Indians in '95. You had Tom Glavine went out there, and he came in after uh, being out there after the first inning, and he told the players, he said, "Y'all get me one." He said, "Because they're not getting any," and he was right. They didn't get any. So then he so he pitched right up till toward the end, and then Pedro Borbon Jr. and Mark Wohlers closed it out with David Justice hitting a home run that was the deciding factor. So that was a masterpiece of a game Glavine pitched. The Indians didn't know which way was up. And here's a trivia question for you, if you like trivia. Carlos Baerga, the second baseman for that Indians team, made the final out in 3 of the 4 Braves wins. So he made the final out of the game in 3 of the 4 Braves wins. So you can go check it, but he did. Hey, Alan. So that was a really uh, happy moment in the city of Atlanta's history and sports. It was the first championship that the Braves had won in Atlanta. Uh, they had they solidified the fact that they were the team of the '90s by winning that. Then the Yankees came along and they moved them out of as being the team of the '90s. And I'm convinced that had Wohlers not given up that not grand slam, that home run. I don't think it was a grand slam. That home run to Jim Leyritz in the '96 World Series. I'm convinced the Braves would have ended up winning that World Series. They jumped out to a two game to none lead, and they were on fire, and they were coming back to Atlanta, and then Wohlers gives up that home run, and it just changed the whole atmosphere of the series, and that was tough. That was tough. So, you know, playing Philly on a Saturday afternoon game. Yeah. So, are you a Jays fan, Jason? I know who Allen roots for. He's a Red Sox fan. Go Sox. He's like Ron. He's in Ron's corner with that. Me too, for that matter, because they are my American League team of choice. And when I mean, they've had some real good success over the last few years. The Sox did over the last couple of decades. So that it didn't make up. But if you look back, they were the Yankees. For the Yankees were the Yankees because they won, what was it, 5 of the World Series before they got rid of Ruth, and then of course didn't win another one until, what was it, 2004. But anyway, it's the Dodgers are wannabe Sox. uh, so you went to a lot of games in '92 and '93. Wow, that game! I tell you what, that Joe Carter, that home run Joe Carter hit to end '93 to solidify that World Series, that right there was a mammoth blast. That was a great shot. So I come they the Braves start playing them Friday. The Jays, they'll play them on Friday. They have a series with them, I think, in Toronto. Pretty sure it's in Toronto. 2004, when the Sox won the World Series, the only time I ever cried. I got to see something my dad never saw. Yep, there you go. There you go. That was a big moment in Sox history. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. There were folks in '86 that were waking their kids up so they could let you got to see this. This is history. You know, the Sox are going to win the World Series, and then that ball trickled through the legs of Buckner for the 2 runs to score. And so sorry, Ron. I don't mean to bring up bad memories, but so so do you, Jason? Do you follow the any of the U.S. football, or do you follow Canadian pro football, or any football at all? I know you probably follow um, the hockey stuff. I'm sure of that. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Fever Pitch, the movie Fever Pitch was really good, Ron. That was a really good movie. That's one of the better baseball movies. As far as I'm concerned, the best baseball movie of all time has got to be Major League, the original movie. That's got to be the best. That's just my humble opinion, but there's a lot of great baseball movies. I mean, you got Angels in the Outfield, you got um, the Spirit of St. Louis, or was that it? Yeah, I think that was what the one about Dizzy Dean, and um, there's a lot of other ones. Bad News Bears, that was a great baseball movie, but that Fever Pitch it ranks up there as one of the best now. But it's not really a baseball movie. It's more of a love story, if you think about it. It's about his love for that lady that he was with and his love for the Sox. What's funny is how um, the Sox, or you got Jimmy Fallon, who is a New Yorker playing a Sox fan. That's and the Lou Gehrig story, yeah, and the original Babe Ruth with what's his name? Is it doggone it? Can't call the actor's name now, but yeah, that was good. That was a good one, and I'm wondering if they'll make any more baseball movies, because it's not something that they're doing a lot of. You don't see a lot of them. Hadn't seen one really come out in a while that I know of. Yep, Pride of the Yankees. See, Lou Gehrig, that man, he played an incredible career. He was he had a lot of heart. It took a lot of heart to do what he did. He, they he was an RBI machine. He and Ruth both were. But what's amazing is they don't neither one of them hold the RBI record. That's held by Hack Wilson, who played for the Cubs, and it was I want to say the 1932 Cubs, but he knocked in what was it 192, 191, something like that runs. John Goodman's role of playing the Babe was pretty good. He did all right. It wasn't as good as the one where what was his name? Oh man, I can't call his name, but his the series, the one he played, the role he played of Babe Ruth he played an excellent one too. Okay, you might hear a dog barking in a minute. Ah, you stop. You stop. Stop it, Maxie. There's a dog walking down the street, and he sees the dog. Cal Ripken, yeah, he was outstanding. He he excelled at third base and shortstop. He played both real well. Uh, he somebody from his era that is not in the Hall of Fame that is a former Brave is Dale Murphy. Dale Murphy won back-to-back MVPs. That's no easy feat. And to the best of my knowledge, hush, Max, hush, hush, baby. Um, Dale Murphy and um, Roger Maris are the only two players to win back-to-back MVPs that are not in the Hall of Fame. There's others that have done it. Now Barry Bonds, he's not in there. He won a bunch of them, but he's not in there. But there's extenuating circumstances with him. But the rest of them, you've got them. They're in there. They've won two MVPs and they're in there. Yogi Berra, he won back to back. He's in there. But I don't get it. William Bendix, that is who I am thinking of. You are right, Ron. Thank you very much. But he, I've heard pitchers talk about facing Murphy from that era. We're talking about great pitchers from that era facing him, and they talk about how it was a scary thing because he was such a great hitter. He could knock it out to anywhere in the ballpark, didn't matter where, and he was a threat to drive in a ton of runs. But he doesn't get it. Yaz, yep, Triple Crown runner. He before Miguel Cabrera won the Triple Crown recently. He was the last person to win a Triple Crown. Yaz was. Yaz was he was outstanding. He could play that wall with the best of them. But all righty, well we've got four in here, and I've been going at it for almost an hour. So right when we get to an hour, I'm going to cut it. Yep, never won a series. You're right. Never won a series. And some of his kids had a brief career, or grandkids had brief careers. I think. Yaz's kids or grandkids or both. But it, you don't see the huge hitters in college make a transfer to the pros. One, it's a change in the bat. The pitching's better. Uh, the bat is an aluminum bat in the college. It's a wooden bat in the pros. If they play with an aluminum bat, yes, Mike was his kid's name. You're right, Mike. Yep. If the pros play with an aluminum bat, they'd be dead people. You'd be hearing about dead players. It's just they can't, and I don't. The only reason colleges do it is because of the economics of having to replace wooden bats. They can't afford it because I mean, you look at it. I mean, that's amazing. Oh, talking about breaking bats and replacing bats. There, Vladimir Guerrero. Now, Jason, his son, I think, plays for the Jays, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Vladimir Guerrero went a whole season without breaking a bat. Can you imagine that? I mean, that means hitting it right perfect every time the ball hits the bat. You're hitting it on the sweet spot because otherwise you risk hitting and or hit breaking the bat every time you swing if it's not hitting the sweet spot. And he played a whole year without breaking a bat. That's amazing. That is amazing to me. So we're over an hour now, and we've got 4 people. Thank y'all for hanging in with me. I hope I didn't bore you too much with my baseball talk. I've had a blast doing it. It's been a lot of fun. Little change of pace, So, hey, Miss Nets. So, it's yep. Jim Rice snapped his bat with. You're right. You're right. I've seen that video. Well, oh, there was a coach. He was a minor league coach, and he would to show how important hand strength was. He would take a bat and he would in his hands, he would just break the bat just in two with his hands. Amazing. And he could take with his fingers and rip the cover off of a baseball to show how important hand strength was because you got to have strong wrists and strong hands to do it, and that was the key to Hank Aaron's success. If you look at Aaron, he didn't have big bulging muscles. He didn't. He had big hands. He had very big and strong hands, and he had very strong wrists. I mean, I shook the man's hand one time, and it just swallowed my hand. And he was amazing. He had very strong hands. So that's that's the that's the thing to remember. So thank y'all for joining me. Uh, we'll be back next week. Next week we're doing a recorded session. It's already done, and our guest is Michelle from Life Adventures and Keto. I hope that you'll come in and join us. And it's okay, Lance. No worries. No worries. I'm just wrapping up because Tom is not feeling well, and I just kind of flew it solo and kind of just talked what was on my head, which tonight was baseball. So I wish y'all all the best. Y'all stay well and enjoy life. Take care.